Hello and welcome, good morning, good afternoon and good evening. And that's obviously depending on when you're watching this video, I know. And I'm wearing my Spaslove today. And this is part 2 of this review. And I know we've already had the instructions, the sprues and the box art and everything like that. But for this part, I've built the kit. So basically, what I want to do is show you or go through with you the instructions in each part that I've put together and show you maybe the pitfalls or certain areas that you might think of looking at as you're building the kit. So obviously this is not going to be a how to paint guide, how to decal guide. This is just going to be this and that's it. So anyway.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Alright, fair enough. So as I go through, I've built the segments, the sub-assemblies, and I'll show you as I go along. And yes, you might be thinking, basically this is for my own sanity, is I circle all the parts when I've glued them on. So that I know that A, I haven't lost them, B, that they've actually gone on there, and C, I haven't lost them because I'm quite good at losing parts. So, as you can see, I've built the engine and I've built the oil cooler and I've done the bulkhead. Now, no problems with this whatsoever with the exception of C41 is not numbered, which is the bulkhead, but we know it's the bulkhead, so you can sort of see on the sprue and look at the picture. That's not hard. And the other area, and I don't know if this is my balls up, but I had a slight fit issue, as you can see there, that I've written there. So obviously, dump that over there for a second. So obviously you've got the engine, and you've got these 3 pipes at the bottom, which correspond to 3 holes at the bottom of the oil cooler. Now, you put this front section in, and mine doesn't quite line up. Now I've bent this down, I've done whatever I can, and that fits in, but then it don't fit into there. So yeah, bit of a problem. So I might have to push this one back and then take this off again, sand it down, glue it back on, and then it will all fit. But that is the only thing that I've had issue wise. The actual numbers are all spot on. There's no, or it should be D32 or wherever. It is D27 as you can see there, so that's not a problem. So moving over the page, the front nose, I can't fault it whatsoever. So I always forget which side it is. So the duplicate side, so A4 and A23 as you can see there, is this side. And this panel line, as you can see going along here, is the join line for the 2 parts. So you can compare it to the original panel line that is a whole piece, and it's, I can't see any difference to be honest with you. So no, spot on. Get rid of that, there's no panel line there, and there's no panel line down the centre seam of there. That is just 1 piece panel, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's no problem. Moving on to the cockpit. Now, I've said modify there, disregard that for a minute. I'll explain that in a minute. But the only thing I've got is that you only get 2 pieces of photo etched for the front pilot's seat. You don't get any lap belts, you don't get any rear seat belts. And I know I mentioned this, or thought I mentioned this in the previous review, or the main review, but it's an 80 quid kit. You don't get any seat belts. What? Why? It's a 1/35th kit. There's not that many, or I don't think there's that many 1/35th Stuka seatbelt sets out there. So, what? But either way, the cockpit fits in with no issues whatsoever. So if I unconnect that out, pull the fuselage halves together, all apart, and that is the cockpit all glued together. No issues, no fit issues whatsoever. Fits into those 2 tabs, front and back. And then, this is the bit that I loved, is where you just plunk the fuselage down and it's done. Didn't even put any pressure on that whatsoever. This front piece goes over the top and anchors down and it's done. And then fits it in perfectly. So that's no issues with any call outs whatsoever. Again, no paint guide. Moving on. The main issue I got on this part is that the armour plates that go on the side of the fuselage, it tells you to drill the holes. Well, the holes are already pre-drilled. If you look at the previous review that I did, you can see that the holes are already there. So if you don't want these armour plates on there, you have to fill the holes. Okay, right, fair enough. Again, the missing numbers, so fuselage halves have got no numbers, and this has got no number to it whatsoever. But there's numbers on the sprue. You know that it's fuselage halves, so you can sort of get away with that, to be honest with you. So it's not a major issue, really. Moving on, I think that part there, you can barely see that part. It would have been nice to be over here and an arrow to it, whichever way. It didn't really take me 2 minutes to find out the part number. Gloss over that. So the other bit that I've got, and I've crossed all this out because I'm not going to do, or I wasn't doing this bit because it's basically a virtual copy of that. But I noticed I had to drill the holes because I call them bollocks, but the things that go on the front of the wing here. Now, and these are the parts H16. This is the bit where I got a bit confused because I thought I'd got the wrong part. But it tells you to drill the hole, which I drilled. Get it in focus. Drilled 1, drilled 2. That's the part. You tell me what's wrong there. There's no male part to go into the hole. So why drill the hole? What? And I'm not missing a part either because everything's cut off the sprue. But what? So if you look at your reference material and you think, oh, I need this on, and then you think, oh, I'll do a different scheme, or maybe oh, I've looked at the material wrong, it didn't need them on. Well, you've already drilled the hole, but you need to drill it. That's the only thing. So it's stupid little areas like that. Anyway, that's the only gripe on that page. Again, drilling holes again, we're back to that. What the hell? I've not drilled any of them. I've not drilled any holes whatsoever. And it tells you to drill the holes. Okay. The other thing is these parts, so E25 and E24. Set this part off, and obviously you've got the coolers that go on the bottom. And basically you've got a flat piece on one side and it's cantilever on the other, or slight kink in it, and the flat piece goes on the inner edge of the wing, like so. And then these parts, I've got little tabs on the inside which fit to these tabs here, and then you put it on, push it down, and it's in. Notice one thing though, it doesn't fit down perfectly, but hey ho, bit of fettling, it will be fine. And then you've got your dive brake mounts on there.
Could we take a break for a while? It appears my intelligence circuits have melted.
So the major thing that I found was this. So you've got your fuselage, you've got your canopy, you put your front canopy on. Then you've got your main canopy, but I'm not going to put that on, well, the pilot's canopy. You've got the centre canopy, which goes on like that. And then you've got the rear canopy, which fits like that. And then you've got 3 main canopies. Now, to have it closed, there's only one that fits. And it fits nice to the front canopy. You fit any of the others, and it don't fit. It's too big. Way too big. They're designed to fit over the top of the centre canopy, like so, but they don't. Now, when I said modify, I'll explain. So, basically what I've done, if you can see there, I've cut a notch into this part here. So I've cut that notch there. And then I've sanded down the profile that way. So I've sanded this down both sides so that the canopy originally fitted like this. So if you sand that edge there on both sides and sand this down the profile, it'll actually squeeze in, pull in, and actually allow you now to put the canopy over the top, admittedly with a bit of squeezing, and have it over the top on both sides. It's very hard to show you with holding it and then pushing it down, but that is what I've done. Also, if you see here, I've cut these tabs off on the bottom of the rear canopy section, like so. If you cut those tabs off and sand it down, previously, if I rebuild it again, like so, the actual rear canopy, you weren't able to slide it back because of these tabs here, which allows part C11 to be glued on. Again, you need to glue C11, but if you cut that in half and then just glue it onto that face there, you're not going to have an overlap that comes underneath. So with that being said, you can actually have the rear canopy sliding open, which I think slides open to somewhere like that. So if I take that off, push that down, and I must admit it does spread the canopy ever so slightly, but you now can have this rear canopy opening. Otherwise, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have been able to open the canopy. So, yeah. So again, looking at the front, you need to sand that out. There's no part number for D25, and I must admit I had D25 and I didn't have a clue where it was, and it's there. I must admit that should be marked up, because that took me a while to figure out where it went. It was a small little part there with no number. Easy to miss. And then the wing to fuselage join, I've just mentioned on mine, and I don't know if you need to do it on yours. If you just glue it on and then just push it down slightly, you're still going to get a bit of a step where it steps up. If you push it down, not push the front, but if you push it down, you can get a better join. And then pulling the wing up slightly will get rid of that and make a nice fit. So not really a gripe there, just an issue that I saw. Other than that, it is spot on. The other thing I've got is the cannon pods. Now the cannon pods are a work of art. Absolutely perfect fit in every way, shape or form. So yeah, go together really, really well. The only thing I've got is that through that gap there, so when E14, you can still see through there. So I'd paint inside and paint this part. Don't think that you can just glue it together and go, I'll not paint it. You do see through. The other thing is E7, I think they should be handed. So one should be E7 and E8. They are canted inwards and then facing particularly one way for the dihedral of the wing. So I must admit they should be handed. Other than that, the kit is perfect. And again, what I was saying is that those two canopies, so them two fit going over the canopy, so the centre section, so they will slide back, that one won't. that one will be only a closed canopy. So if it was that one you wanted, you could only have that one as a closed one, if your references tell you. So either way, that is that. Okay, and there we have it. So I must admit, I thought that was going to be a 10-minute video, but yeah, I might have rolled over a bit. The engineering of the kit, I think, is really, really good. One thing I forgot to mention was the fit of the wings. So as you can see, the bottom wing join is a hell of a lot better than the Hasegawa one. Where the Hasegawa one fits both sides in the middle of this part here, on both sides, top and bottom. That alone took me about 5 minutes to put together. It probably took me longer to clean the parts, obviously for the sprue joins. But that being said, I still think the kit is a fantastic kit to go together. It's just, I think it's been rushed and they just wanted it out. The PE, the photo etched, there should have been more. There should have been a hell of a lot more, especially for the cockpit. It seems to me that they sort of skimped on that to get the detail of the kit. Don't get me wrong, there'll be somebody coming along for the seat belts, but why should you have to pay more? It just gets me that. Why do you have to always pay more for somebody who thinks, oh, I'll scrimp on a kit? You know, put an extra $5 on it if you need to give us a lot better of a cockpit and some better photo etched, if that is going to be the case. But either way, that being said, I still think it's a really good kit. Just be mindful of how you build it. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. Cheerio.
Run away!